best Wolverine, Hugh Jackman versus comic version. Hey there, fellow Marvel enthusiasts. Today we're diving into one of the biggest debates in the X-Men universe. Who is the ultimate Wolverine? Is it the fierce, gritty comic book legend, or Hugh Jackman's iconic portrayal on the silver screen? Whether you're a longtime comic reader or you first met Logan through the movies, this video's for you. Wolverine has clawed his way into our hearts with his tough exterior, complex personality, and those signature adamantium claws. But how do the comic and cinematic versions stack up against each other? We're breaking down their origins, abilities, personalities, and their impact on pop culture to see who truly embodies the essence of everyone's favorite mutant. So grab your adamantium upgrades and let's embark on this epic comparison. Ready? Let's get started. Origin and creation in comics. First up, let's rewind to 1974 when Wolverine made his first appearance in The Incredible Hulk number 180. Created by writer Len Wein and Marvel art director John Romita Sr., Wolverine was introduced as a mysterious Canadian with a formidable temper and lethal claws. His real name? James Howlett, though he's more commonly known as Logan. From the get-go, Wolverine stood out with his anti-hero demeanor, a gruff loner with a heart of gold. Over the years, he's become a staple in the Marvel Universe, joining teams like the X-Men and the Avengers, and starring in countless storylines that delve into his complex past and internal struggles. Introduction of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Fast forward to the year 2000 and enter Hugh Jackman, a relatively unknown Australian actor at the time. When he was cast as Wolverine in the first X-Men movie, some fans were skeptical. After all, Jackman stands at 6'2", a full foot taller than the comic book Logan, who is 5'3". But as soon as he appeared on screen, it was clear that he embodied the spirit of Wolverine. Jackman's dedication to the role over 17 years and 9 films is nothing short of legendary. He brought depth, charisma, and a raw physicality that made Wolverine a household name even outside the comic book community. From the Weapon X program to the emotional depth explored in Logan 2017, Jackman's Wolverine evolved significantly, mirroring the character's journey in the comics while introducing new layers to his personality. His performance has been a benchmark for superhero portrayals, inspiring future adaptations and actors in the genre. Comic version. Physical traits. In the comics, Wolverine is quite distinctive. Standing at a stocky 5'3", he's a powerhouse of muscle and ferocity. His appearance is rugged, wild, unkempt hair, pronounced sideburns, and often a scowl that could send shivers down Sabretooth's spine. His attire has varied, but fans fondly recognize his classic yellow and blue spandex suit, complete with the pointed mask. The look emphasizes his animalistic nature and sets him apart from his fellow mutants. His height and build also play into his fighting style. He's scrappy, relying on brute strength and agility, often overwhelming opponents larger than himself. The comics use his physical traits to highlight his feral origins and the internal struggle between man and beast. Powers and abilities. Wolverine's abilities are the stuff of legend. His primary mutant power is his accelerated healing factor, allowing him to recover from injuries that would be fatal to others. This power also slows his aging, making him much older than he appears, a man who's lived through wars and personal tragedies. Complementing his healing is his enhanced senses. He can see in near darkness, hear distant sounds, and his sense of smell rivals that of any animal, making him an exceptional tracker. Perhaps most iconic are his retractable claws. Originally bone, these were later coated with adamantium, the near-indestructible metal bonded to his skeleton through the Weapon X program. These claws can cut through almost anything, and combined with his animal-like instincts and martial prowess, Wolverine is a formidable opponent on any battlefield. His strength, stamina, and reflexes are all heightened, and over the years he's mastered various forms of combat, both armed and unarmed. He's not just a brawler, he's a skilled warrior with a tactical mind when the situation demands it. Hugh Jackman's portrayal. Physical adaptation. Hugh Jackman brought his own spin to Wolverine's physicality. While taller than the comic version, Jackman transformed his physique through rigorous training, achieving a muscular and ripped appearance that exudes power. His dedication is evident. Each film saw him pushing his body to new limits to embody Wolverine's ferocity. The signature hairstyle and mutton chops were adapted for the screen, giving a nod to the comic aesthetics, while grounding them in a more realistic setting. Although the classic yellow spandex didn't make the cut, aside from a fun deleted scene in the Wolverine, the costume designers created a look that felt authentic, a rugged leather jacket, tank tops, and jeans that matched his nomadic lifestyle. Representation of powers. Jackman's Wolverine displayed his powers in visceral and cinematic ways. The healing factor was a prominent feature, often shown with gritty realism, bullets pushed out of wounds, cuts sealing before our eyes. These moments emphasized the burden of his immortality, not just the advantages. His claws, rendered with cutting-edge special effects, were central to some of the most intense action sequences. From the cage fight introductions to the defensive fury during the mansion raid in X2, the claws were both a weapon and a symbol of his internal struggle. While his heightened senses were less emphasized than in the comics, there were subtle nods, like sniffing the air to detect danger. The films chose to focus more on the emotional and psychological aspects of his powers, exploring how his abilities isolated him and affected his relationships. Jackman's portrayal balanced the raw power of Wolverine with moments of vulnerability, showcasing not just what he could do, but how he felt about who he was. This holistic approach added depth to the character, making his powers an integral part of his identity, rather than just tools for action scenes. Wolverine in comics. Personality traits. Comic book Wolverine is a fascinating mix of contradictions. He's a loner who often finds himself part of a team, a man haunted by his past yet constantly moving forward. His temper is legendary, quick to ignite but equally quick to cool when reason prevails. He possesses a strong moral compass, often stepping in to protect those who can't protect themselves. Despite his rough exterior and brusque manner, he cares deeply for his friends and has mentored younger mutants like Kitty Pryde and Jubilee, forming sibling-like bonds. Wolverine's humor is dry and sarcastic, adding levity to tense situations. He's introspective, grappling with his nature as both man and beast. This inner conflict drives much of his story, as he seeks redemption and a sense of belonging in a world that fears and misunderstands him. Key character arcs. The Weapon X saga is pivotal, revealing the harrowing experiments that forged his adamantium skeleton and fractured his memories. This arc delves into themes of identity loss and the manipulation of free will. In Old Man Logan, we're presented with a dystopian future version of Wolverine. Here, he's come to terms with his violent past and chooses a path of pacifism, only to be pulled back into conflict. It's a tale of redemption and the enduring fight against one's nature. Another significant storyline is House of M, where Wolverine becomes aware of his entire history, a double-edged sword that grants clarity but also the weight of his long, painful life. Throughout various arcs, he's also dealt with love and loss, notably with characters like Mariko Yashida and Jean Grey, adding layers to his rugged persona. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. On-screen personality. Jackman's Wolverine captures the essence of the comic character while adding his own nuances. He portrays Logan as a tortured soul masking his pain with gruffness and sarcasm. His one-liners and blunt remarks provide humor, but also reveal his reluctance to get emotionally attached. His protective instincts shine, especially in relationships with characters like Rogue and Laura, X-23. These connections reveal his softer side and his fear of loss, highlighting the depth beneath his tough exterior. Jackman's performance balances the character's inherent aggression with moments of tenderness and introspection. Character growth through films. Throughout the X-Men film series, Wolverine's character undergoes significant development. In the first film, he's a drifter, uninterested in the mutant cause. But as he becomes entangled with the X-Men, he finds a family and a purpose beyond himself. In X-Men Days of Future Past, his role is crucial in uniting past and future teams, showcasing leadership and a willingness to embrace his identity for the greater good. The storyline allows him to confront his past and influence pivotal events, altering the course of history. Logan serves as a profound conclusion to his arc. Set in a bleak future, we see an aging Wolverine facing the reality of his mortality and the consequences of his prolonged life of violence. His relationship with Laura adds emotional depth as he grapples with being a father figure. The film explores themes of legacy, redemption, and the enduring quest for peace. Jackman's portrayal shows a man constantly evolving, accepting his flaws, seeking forgiveness, and ultimately finding a sense of closure. His journey resonates with audiences, offering a hero who is both relatable and inspiring. Memorable comic storylines. Wolverine's comic history is rich with moments that have defined his character. In Fatal Attractions, he has the adamantium ripped from his skeleton by Magneto, a traumatic event that tests his limits and resilience. The aftermath forces him to confront his identity without his signature metal claws. Enemy of the State is another standout arc, where Wolverine is brainwashed by villains and turned into a deadly assassin against his allies. This storyline showcases the fearsome extent of his abilities and the danger he poses when manipulated. It's a gripping exploration of his inner strength and the fight against control. In Origin, readers finally learn about Wolverine's past, from his upbringing in 19th century Canada to the tragic events that shaped him. This deep dive into his history adds context to his hardened exterior and sheds light on the pain that fuels him. Standout scenes in movies. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine has delivered some truly unforgettable cinematic moments. Who can forget his explosive introduction in the underground cage fight in the first X-Men movie? That scene immediately established his toughness and reluctance to engage with others. In X2, X-Men United, the berserker rage during the Mansion invasion is a fan favorite, showcasing his raw power and protective instincts. The intensity of his defense against the attackers highlights his commitment to those he considers family. The Wolverine features an epic battle atop a speeding bullet train, a blend of high-octane action and strategic combat that brings comic book excitement to life. Perhaps the most poignant moments come from Logan. The scene where he buries Professor X is heart-wrenching, laying bare his vulnerability and the depth of their relationship. And of course, his final sacrifice to save Laura and the other young mutants is a powerful conclusion to his journey, a hero's farewell that leaves a lasting impact. Even lighter moments, like his hilarious cameo in X-Men First Class, where he bluntly tells Charles Xavier and Eric Lehnsherr to go f*** yourself, showcase his trademark wit and outsider attitude. These scenes not only provide thrilling entertainment, but also deepen our understanding of Wolverine's character, blending action with emotion in a way that resonates with audiences. Impact on pop culture. Influence of comic Wolverine. Wolverine's influence extends far beyond the pages of comic books. He's become a symbol of the anti-hero archetype, flawed, complex, and relatable. His popularity spurred the creation of solo series, graphic novels, and crossover events that expanded the Marvel Universe. His catchphrases, especially "I'm the best there is at what I do," have permeated pop culture, appearing in merchandise, parodies, and homages. T-shirts, action figures, and collectibles featuring Wolverine remain hot items among fans. The character has inspired animated adaptations, such as X-Men, the animated series, and Wolverine and the X-Men, introducing him to younger audiences and solidifying his status as a cultural icon. His journey from a supporting character to a central figure reflects his resonance with themes of identity, redemption, and the human condition. Hugh Jackman's legacy. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine has left a monumental legacy in the film industry. He's one of the few actors to portray a superhero across multiple films and timelines, maintaining consistency and depth over 17 years. His commitment to the role, both physically and emotionally, influenced how superhero films approach character development. Jackman proved that these movies could be more than just action-packed blockbusters. They could tell meaningful stories that explore complex themes. Logan, 2017, broke ground as a darker, more mature superhero film, earning critical acclaim and an Academy Award nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay. This success paved the way for films like Deadpool and Joker, which took risks with tone and content. Jackman's portrayal has become the definitive on-screen Wolverine, setting a high bar for future interpretations. His ability to balance ferocity with vulnerability resonated with audiences worldwide, making Wolverine a universally recognized character. Fan opinions and debates. Preferred interpretations. The debate over the best Wolverine is a lively one. Some fans swear by the comic version, appreciating the sheer depth and breadth of his stories. They value the gritty details, the shorter stature, the more animalistic behavior, and the vast exploration of his psyche across different writers and eras. Others champion Hugh Jackman's portrayal, arguing that he brought a humanity and relatability to the character that transcended the source material. Jackman's Wolverine introduced many to the character, and his performance has become synonymous with Logan for a whole generation of fans. There's also a group that loves both, seeing the comic and film versions as complementary. They appreciate the nuances each brings to the table, the comics for their extensive lore, and the films for their emotional storytelling. Ongoing discussions. With the X-Men's film rights now under Marvel Studios, fans are buzzing about who might take up the mantle of Wolverine next. Names like Tom Hardy and Taron Egerton have been floated, each bringing their own potential spin. Discussions often revolve around whether the next portrayal should align more closely with the comics. Shorter stature, perhaps embracing the classic suit, or continue the legacy that Jackman established. There's excitement and trepidation about rebooting such an iconic character. On forums and social media, fans debate storylines they'd like to see adapted, such as Weapon X or Alpha Flight arcs. The conversation reflects a passionate community eager to see Wolverine's next chapter unfold, while honoring the rich history that both the comics and Jackman's portrayal have provided. So, who's the best Wolverine? The truth is, both versions are amazing in their own right. The comic Wolverine gives us decades of depth and adventure, while Hugh Jackman's portrayal brought heart and humanity to the big screen. Together, they've made Wolverine the legend we all know and love. Thanks for joining me on this epic journey through Wolverine's world. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more Marvel deep dives, and let me know in the comments, who's your favorite Wolverine? Until next time, stay mutant and proud.